Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Game Changers for Government Contractors. I am your host, Michael LeJeune, and today we are going to be talking about 4 responsibilities that are key for business owners. There's a lot of responsibilities business owners have, but there's 4 here that I really want to talk about as key for every business owner. Before I do that, I want to tell you a little bit about us in case this is the first time you've tuned into one of the episodes. I own a company called RSM Federal. We help companies that are new to government contracting navigate the complexities of government contracting. We also help companies that are in the market for a while and kind of plateaued, help them get over those revenue humps and achieve their goals, navigate the market, and just kind of expand in here. So if you're having trouble in the government contracting market and you need some help, please reach out to myself and somebody from my team will reach out to you. So let's get in here and talk about these 4 responsibilities for a business owner. So if you are going to be a successful business owner, one of the things that most business owners don't do that's extremely important is take care of yourself. That is one of your 4 primary responsibilities. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to prioritize your personal well-being in order to ensure that you lead effectively. That's even if you're an army of one. If you're just starting out and you're all by yourself, you've got to take care of yourself. You need plenty of time for rest and recuperation, plenty of time for downtime to get your mind right, all those kind of things. You've got to look at your health and your mindset directly to make sure that you are in a growth mindset, you're in a positive mindset. It's very easy as a business owner to have things that pull you down and you get into all the weeds and all the fires that you have to put out all the time. So it's just extremely important that you take care of yourself. And one of the things that I've noted for myself and for our clients, and by the way, I'm not always the best at this. It's very important, but I struggle with this one too. But one of the things I noticed for our clients is as you level up in your business, you have to level up your self-care. So you have to go from, well, just taking an evening off work or a few extra hours on the weekend. You have to go from that to taking multiple days off, to taking more vacation time, to focusing on more time in the gym, focusing on things like reading for pleasure, hobbies, stuff like that. As you level up, you have to level up your self-care because the demands just grow. When you're running a $100,000 a year business, the demand isn't near the same as a million or a 10 million or a $50 million company. As you grow, the demands, the stress level, those things often just get larger, or maybe the right word for it is different. There's different levels. Now instead of it just being you have a team of 20 executives that you're managing, and they have a team of 20 people each or whatever it is. And so the gravity of this just changes. The complexity of it just changes as you grow. And so you have to level up your self-care. So that's number 1. Number 2, as your main responsibility as a business owner, is driving revenue. Everything in the company needs to be driving revenue at some way, shape, or form. And as the business owner, even if you're not directly involved in revenue activities such as prospecting, business development, sales, those sort of things, you have to ensure that revenue is being driven. And it's your responsibility as the business owner to make sure all those pieces are put in place so that you can fund operations, you can pay employees, you can provide stability for the company. And so driving revenue has to be something that is top of mind every single day for you as a business owner. So what are we doing currently to drive revenue? Again, whether you're a one-man band or you've got 1,000 employees, what are we doing today to drive revenue? And not just innovate in the company, because a lot of companies get focused on innovation or different problems and challenges they have, and they move away from sales and marketing, traditional things that grow the business. So as a business owner, in order to drive revenue, you need to understand what the levers are that drive the business and how to pull those levers in order to increase the growth inside the business. You have to understand and maintain close relationships with your sales and marketing team to make sure that their goals are aligned with the strategic goals of the company, and their goals are aligned with each other. The marketing and the sales teams are often at odds with each other. You need to make sure they're aligned, even if that is saying to your director or VP of business development or marketing or sales or whatever, making sure that they at the top are aligned and working together. Because again, those two teams can often fight each other, and that can be a problem. You need to understand what tools you need: sales dashboards, CRMs, mechanisms for tracking revenue, mechanisms for tracking key performance indicators, things like that. You need to understand what tools you need that are going to help you drive revenue. And you need to focus on making sure those are implemented and they work properly. I've seen situations where like the tool is telling us one thing, but our results are telling us something different. So there's something off in the tool. There's something off in the system that is not calibrated properly, and we need to calibrate that properly in order to make sure we're driving revenue. And then you need to be able to keep revenue generation as top of mind for all of your key personnel. So it's not just a you thing. It is making sure that everybody on the team understands we have got to keep revenue as a top of mind priority for this company. And if you do that, this one alone will help the company grow. The other things will help it thrive. Taking care of it, you're taking care of yourself and doing the other things that I'm about to talk about. So when we get into some of the others, I think number 3 here is serving and building your team. Once you grow beyond an army of yourself and you're trying to grow, you start to transition somewhere probably around the 5 or 6 employee mark, where you're not necessarily client facing. You're not touching the client as much. And maybe for your company, it's more at the 25 employee mark or the 50 employee mark, whatever it is. There's a mark in your company where you're less client facing and more team facing, like you're internally focusing on the team. But even before you get to that point, you have to support team development. You have to focus on creating a high performing, engaged workforce that is aligned with the vision of the company, is executing the vision of the company, and is focused on serving your customer. Because if you can do that, then you can take your eye off of the client facing stuff and focus it on your team, to where now you are serving and building the team. You're fostering a culture of collaboration and open communication, team development, skill development, things like that. And you're focused on the culture of the company, how you work together, how you play together, how you grow together. And those are the things that allow the company to thrive, because now, instead of the company being so dependent on you for everything, the company is now dependent on your team, and your clients are now dependent on your team. So the better you serve your team, the better they can serve your customers. And it's just a simple little cycle there. So again, you may have 1,000 employees, but only 50 key directors in the business. And your focus is to serve those directors, set an example for how you serve those directors, and now they can focus on how they're going to serve the people under them. And those people have a pattern for how they can then serve your customers. So it really starts at the top and kind of trickles all the way down. So you serve them the same way you want them to serve your customers. And that just takes the business to an entirely new level. Being customer centric starts with being team centric, with you understanding that that is your customer. Your customer is your team, and we need to serve them first. The next thing on my list here, number 4, is often what people put as number 1, and that's why I put it as number 4 on here, is innovating and pushing the team out of its comfort zone. So regardless of what you sell, whether it's product or services, there needs to be some level of innovation in what you do. And you may say, Mike, we sell something really, really boring. Well, maybe your innovation isn't about your product or service. Maybe your innovation is more about how you sell it, who you sell it to, how you bundle it with other things, who you team with. There's some sort of, innovating that needs to happen. And I find that one of the best ways to do this is to encourage internal and external innovation, and focusing on, like, how do we stay competitive? How do we stay forward thinking? How do we stay first in the market with an idea? How do we test these things? So in a situation like this, or an environment like this, what you're doing is a lot of trial and error. And you're quickly going through trial and error and saying, that doesn't work. We're going to stop doing that. This is working. We're going to give it some more cycles to see how it functions. And once you've gone through 60, 90, 120 days, maybe a little bit more of something where it's continually working, then you can evaluate it seriously and say, do we need to put more money, energy, resources, whatever it is, into this innovation? Again, whether it's a new product or a new way of doing business, that's often how you have to look. Because in my business, we haven't really changed our fundamental service in years, but we have evolved how we deliver the service almost on an every 6 to 12 month basis. And whether it is new artifacts, new materials, new methods that we use, there's something that we innovate about the delivery of the product and the service. And so you can do the same thing. Where people often get caught up is you'll see a company that does, let's say, cybersecurity, and all of a sudden they decide they want to develop a product, like a physical product to sell. And they get really hung up on that, and they don't know anything about building a product, selling a product, marketing a product, anything like that. And it just pulls them away from the main thing they do. So you have to be very careful when you're introducing a brand new product to the market, especially if it's not something that the market has ever seen before. There's a long runway of time to get that built, to get it perfected, to get it in the market, to do pilot stuff, to get it to where it's a core part of your business. And it could be a distraction to the business if you are spending too much time and energy on it. And you will spend a lot more money and time than you would ever think possible on a brand new product. I'll give you an example. One of the companies that I worked for years and years ago, probably 20 years ago, they wanted to develop a new CRM tool to use internally because they thought that would take their processes to an entirely new level. Now, there's a lot of companies that do that. Homegrown CRMs are probably one of the biggest nemesis to small business. But this company was like, we're going to innovate. We're going to create this new thing. It's going to allow us to streamline our services line. It's going to be out of this world. It's going to do all these cool things. The short version of the story is they spent 2.5 years and multi-millions of dollars on this CRM that didn't do anything better than all the stuff that's off the shelf. So there was a huge distraction, millions of dollars. It delayed putting a tool in the hands of their team. And at one day, they just realized, look, this is a complete waste of time. We're just going to kill this off, and we're going to start this new thing. They spent way too much time on something that they could have pulled off the shelf and customized easily and had in the hands of their team. 2-3 years of wasted time, which is more important than the few $1,000,000 they spent on it. So you've got to very quickly be able to evaluate innovation and determine, is this worth a next step? How is this going to help our business? How is it going to help our customers? Is this worth us continuing down this road? And if not, we've got to kill it off quickly and look for another solution. Maybe we're chasing the wrong rabbit and it's something that you figure out, hey, this is really a waste of time. It's something that really has to be done manually, whatever the deal is, but you've got to be able to kill those off quickly to move on. So those are the 4 things that I think are the primary responsibilities of every business owner: the self-care, taking care of yourself, driving revenue, serving and building your team, and innovation. If you can do those 4 things, or any one of those 4 things, you will significantly see growth in the business because you are focused on those core areas as an owner CEO that allow you to take things to just right into the stratosphere. So if you have questions about this, or if you're struggling with any of these areas, please reach out. We would love to help you with this in your business to help you go to the next level. Thank you for listening today. We'll see you in the next episode.